Hello, it's Jay here with another No Ums video. No Ums video number 14. Something about 14 just made me want to look back and say, what does 14 of these No videos mean? It means that I've had 14 weeks of doing vocal exercises, which is coming up on 98 days of continuing to do all my tongue twisters and warm up exercises and trying to work on my enunciation, trying to keep a sight of my no ums and no ahs part of that. Though in some ways, I think by focusing on some of the other aspects, it actually helps me relax and hopefully drop some of my other bad habits. That said, I should probably try and, again, as usual, work on watching my own videos immediately after I tape them to just have a sense of how much umming and awing am I doing, how much am I doing all those filler words that I love so much, and that due to uncomfortableness with silence, I will rush to fill the void with or basically or or stuff or things versus pausing and trying to come up with the right word and trust my audience to be patient and to know that it's showing some respect for this guy's actually thinking before he talks. Ooh, how different on the internet. So yes, 98 days of doing vocal exercises. I should actually, once I've done my vocal exercise recording for the 18th, go back and listen to one of my early ones and see, it's like, oh, is there a difference there? And are there the same mistakes in number one as there is in the most recent one? That as well. But those are all interesting things to try and help me take a step back from my own performance and look at it in a more objective manner. Not a cruel manner, but just an objective manner that can hopefully lead to improvements. I was also looking at my reading videos, which predate all this trying to work on my improving my vocal delivery. And I've done 927 reading videos. Some of those are a minute long, some of those are half an hour long. I've definitely been doing the shorter side of things lately with poetry, but before that I was doing like good hunks of texts, and I will probably get back to that, but as just another way to work on how I deliver the voice here, though I don't actually listen to those, and that's one of those things I was thinking about for a collection of poetry, that I should go back and listen to what I've read out loud so I can have some sort of perspective, a little bit one step back perspective on the poetry collection if I wanted to talk about it, because I've read it out loud, which is definitely a certain experience of the work. But especially with something like poetry, I think you're working so hard with the words you can kind of lose track of the wider meaning of what's been said in the poem. I think that was really the case while I was reading William Butler Yeats. Maybe that's a good one to go back and listen to and see if I can get anything from it. So I've done that. So there's been more reading videos this week. Next thing is my vocal video study, which this week was about How to Remember Your Lines by Darren McStay, which had some interesting tips on how to remember your lines. Also, probably just kind of baby first steps on how to deliver your lines, how to act out your lines, how to act your lines, how to imbue meaning into your lines, to not just be a dry recitation, but what am I trying to communicate? That's the steps, and these steps were break down your speech into kind of individual ideas. He was using a Hamlet soliloquy, the famous one, to be or not to be, and writing out each section in your own words so you have an understanding of what you're reading, even if it's only just your understanding. Especially something like Shakespeare, there's so multiple different meanings that you could have in the text. But what is your meaning? Because you're going to need to have that in your head as you actually deliver the lines, to give the lines some weight. It's not you just simply reading out the lines verbatim on the page, which sometimes is the case of what I'm doing with the poetry. So that's an interesting thought there. It would take a lot more work, but maybe I would slow down my poetry reading, which may not be a bad idea. But so understanding what you are delivering, and then the next step was the kind of the grinder work, which is drill your lines, which is very much to be, or not, to be or not to be, and just continually going through the whole thing and repeat and repeat and repeat. So you've just got the feel, you've got the memory of those lines in your mouth so that they're ingrained in there. Which is great for your next step, which is actioning, which is what kind of, now that you've got the lines embedded in your head, in your body, you've got them kind of graven in there, then going through and saying, okay, well, what do I want to impart with these words? What's the emotion that I want to get across to the audience? Who is the audience? And he talked about like live performance, where you can be delivering your speech, whatever that speech is, and be reading the room, and because you've got the words in your head so firmly in your head, in your body, you can change that up as you're doing your speech, to try and, it's like, oh, I'm being a little bit flirty here, oh, that's not working, well, maybe I can be a little bit jokey, or I can be a little, or I can be very serious here because, wow, people are taking this very seriously, or I can be kind of lighthearted, or whatever mood that the audience is in, you can react to that, and it's not simply you just reading, you're interacting with your audience. And yeah, a lot of these vocal video studies, I come back to the thing of audience, and my conflicted conflicted feelings about the audience. Who am I talking to on this channel, which is the private readers channel? In a lot of ways, I am just talking to myself. Hi to all the bots that are, the 7 bots that are out there, or zombie accounts or whatever. No judgments here. But also my public channel. Who am I talking to? And that brings up sort of, I don't know, fear of an audience. I project a lot of my worries onto people going to be judging me. I mean, a lot of that I know is coming from myself, though there are a few judgy people on the internet. You may not have noticed, but a lot of people take a lot of their own anxieties and frustrations out on random people on the internet that, for whatever reason, have triggered them one way or the other. They see someone who's confident on the internet and they just want to attack them for being cocky and arrogant, and that might have more to do with, and they might be cocky and arrogant, but it's like the vitriol that people come at people with makes you think that there's underlying insecurities that come with that kind of audience. And I mean, a part of my fear of an audience is there's an emotional thing of like, I kind of have a need for an audience. As much as I kind of protest, I don't. I think a part of the reason why I'm wary of the audience is I can see the power of it. I can see the power of affirmation and wanting to chase that affirmation. And I resist that a lot. Also, a lot of people aren't particularly interested in my videos, so I don't have much to worry about. But even getting a small amount of attention feels very addictive that way. And that's obviously my own lacks in my own life, like whatever I'm not giving myself. There's a strong inclination to look out and say, oh, people out here like me, and that getting over important to me and shaping me, twisting me in ways that I don't like. But the thing with an audience, another filler word, is there's practical considerations. wanting to improve my communication presupposes that there's somebody I want to improve my communication to. You know, there's that. Why am I doing this unless I want to actually communicate with people? I guess I do. At least I've had 14 weeks of working on this. If I was only interested in talking to myself, I could just be sitting here mumbling to myself and not even recording myself, and that would fulfill. There's something about the performance of this, performing to somebody out there, that appeals to me. So there's that. I really enjoy doing this. I'm really enjoying this project. It's become my sort of my meta project for the year, is improving my communication skills, my vocal delivery, my working at making better video essays. But it's like, that means I'm actually talking to somebody else. And who is that? I want to, and also there's a practical consideration of, okay, I want to communicate. Who am I communicating to? Who is my audience? Who am I targeting with whatever message I have? Do I need an actual audience to do that, or can I come up with a construct of, this is the kind of person I'm trying to talk to here? Because there's certain people who aren't interested in books. I'm not interested in if you're not interested in books, then why? I'm probably not talking to you, because why would you? That's not my audience. Is non-reading audience is probably not my audience. So that's one there. I could spitball a lot more, but targeting my speech. Who am I going for? What do I want to take them? Where do I want to take them from? And where do I want to take them to? Now, for practical considerations of if I'm going to get better at that, do I need to get feedback? I probably need to get feedback to get better at articulating my messages. And I sort of struggle with that with the comment section, because a lot of the comments I've gotten have been quite lovely, have been ego boosting. I don't know if it's been I don't know if the positive ones. The positives like, oh, good job, little camper, keep on going, which I know for a lot of people that's probably the first and biggest feedback that they need, is that kind of is a feedback of, oh, somebody's watching, so I should continue doing that. I don't know if I do need that. I've done 3,485 videos on this channel without a single, well, actually the couple of feedback video comments until I took away my email address from this account, but virtually no feedback, and I apparently don't need that. So I don't need encouragement to keep on going, because apparently I might I don't need feedback to keep going, because I'm apparently just going to keep going until the heat death of the universe, or probably my own death. And when you get negative comments, a lot of times they're negative comments of, you're an asshole, stop lying. Now, there has actually been one comment that pushed me forward to get better at my vocal delivery, and it was a nasty comment. I think it was a comment. I mean, you see, this is the thing. Should I ascribe negative intention to those comments? I feel like I should, because it was like, hey, you use a lot of ums and ahs. I didn't immediately respond to that, and the next comment was, oh, I obviously really hit a nerve with that, because you're not responding to me, which I think that's where I can be excused to say that was a negative comment that meant to wound, which I took as a little prod to actually get better at my vocal delivery. I doubt someone who probably alighted on one of my videos and has never been back. Again, undoubtedly. But I took it as a spur to get better. So that is a comment. And that's like one of the nasty ones. And it's like I've gotten very few nasty comments on my videos overall, other than, various, one controversial video. But not controversial, but contentious video. I don't think it's controversial. I think the thing with feedback is you get that fear of it taking control. The feedback takes control. I need to make these sort of videos because these sort of videos do well and these sort of videos don't do well. That's why I don't look at my I don't look at the numbers for my videos of how long people are watching them, what videos people are watching, because then I'd probably find out that I should only do tag videos and do only read certain types of books, probably books that the desperate high school students are scanning the internet for quick primers on before tomorrow because they've got to talk about it. So there's definitely a concern that if I got too much into that, I would just it would become a job. It would become, instead of serving my own interest and my own enthusiasms, I would be serving some imaginary audience that I wanted to curry favor with, which I'm not interested in doing. I want massive subscriber numbers and massive people watching all my videos. I don't want their reaction to twist me, which, yeah. And it's like, I'm doing what I think I've found doing what comes natural to me is what has allowed me to continue doing videos and kind of get over a lot of my own neurotic tendencies. And there's been a lot of neurotic tendencies that have made me want to quit doing this little hobby of mine. I think turning off my comments actually has kind of quieted that a lot, which is definitely on the positive side. It's like it's quieted those negative thoughts, those I'm gonna stop doing this. I don't. It's funny, even with the comments off, I sometimes do get an inclination of like, oh, I wonder how well that video's doing, but there's no comments for me to go obsessively checking in and looking at the after, and that has been healthy for me because it's like, okay, I can relax. I released the video. I sort of got what I wanted out of it from a healthy standpoint, and when I'm looking for reaction afterwards, that's I'm looking for ego boost. I'm looking for affirmations of selfhood in all the wrong places. Like if you're looking for affirmations of selfhood on a YouTube comment, in a YouTube comment field, you are sadly out of luck, buddy. That is just not the place you want to go. So I think to improve my communication skills, I need to work on the idea of audience and how I want to improve my engagement, how engaging my videos are. But I have to maybe accept some limitations on myself, one of which is I don't do well with comments. They're in the plus minus columns. I think it's mostly a negative thing for me to have comments. And it's also something to just keep on, it's something to keep on checking in with, because it doesn't have to be like I will never have comments on my videos ever again. Yeah, it may be something where it could happen. It could happen that I will get back to it. Maybe that'll be a part of this journey of trying to get better, be a better communicator, is opening myself up in a healthy way to interactions with other people again on the internet. I'm in other people's comment fields, which I don't think is hypocritical because they've made a choice And hopefully, I don't know. I don't know. See, I'm just rambling here now. It's definitely a work in progress. Me and my audience. Me and my conception of audience. Me and my emotional fraught feelings and hungry desires for an audience are are all here and are difficult, and you can tell that because this is difficult to talk about. Blah. All right, I'm gonna leave it there. So no ums for number 14. I've been Jay. More videos later.